So Ray, Mayo won here today, 114 to 110. Mayo are back in a semi-final. What do you think?
Yeah, look, most people felt that if Donegal's vein of form continued as it has been, based on their Kerry display and beating Meath, that they would have won here today. But Mayo produced a fantastic performance. Particularly in the first half, they really gave it to Donegal. It was 1-7-4 at half time, and the game looked over. A dubious enough penalty, but I thought it was a penalty for Michael Murphy, brought them back into the game. And there was a period there when Donegal could have won this match. I think they kicked 6 wide in a row, one into the goalie's hands and another wide, so 7 wides. You know, the 10 wides in the second half, that's what cost Donegal here today. It would have been interesting had they gone level, would Mayo have had it there to bounce back. But that said, they deserved their victory. Guys like Paddy Durkin, had a fantastic game on Ryan McHugh. He scored 3 from play. He was fantastic. He was my man of the match. Andy Moran came off the bench, scored 2 great points. Just at 36 at the end of the year, fantastic, and inspiration to a lot of mid-30 footballers. I think it's over.
Hero.
Yeah, he changed. Well, he's changed work, as you know, and he's got a gym now. And I think a lot of people say sitting is the new smoking, and Andy now is into flexibility, motivational stuff, and it has really worked for him. They were very, very impressive. What caught Donegal is when Murphy was in full forward, they needed him at midfield. When he was midfield, they needed him at full forward. If Donegal had 2 Michael Murphys, they would have won here today. But Mayo deserved it. They're in an All-Ireland semi-final next weekend now. We won't know till tomorrow evening whether it's Dublin or Tyrone, but they'll fancy their chances with that little bit of momentum from today's win.
And do you think, as them going in as underdogs, had anything to do with it at all?
No, not really. I think they just had their backs to the wall, and I suppose with Stephen Rochford coming back as well, that may have been a motivation. It wouldn't have been mentioned in the dressing room, but that said, any Mayo player would have said, Stephen Rochford isn't coming down here knowing what we were capable of and taking us down. And you know, the likes of Colin Boyle had a very, very good display. He's 4 All-Stars. He really plays on the edge. Mayo play on the edge now. Along with all the top teams, they can be very, very smart with the foul, with the half foul, you know, a drag back here and there. I thought David Goff could have maybe shown a few more cards. He allows some plays continue when there is most definitely a foul. But obviously the J are happy with that because he's got a few big games. He did Roscommon Mayo here in the Championship. He did Tyrone and Donegal as well. But you know, I think some of the assessors will look at some of them and say, look, David, that was a free. But look, it's a hard one for a referee because we want the game to flow and at the same time, but I thought he was consistently inconsistent in the application of the rule book. And if I had my under 12s, under 14s doing some of the fouls that were out there, I would expect frees to be given against them. But you know, it worked for both sides. I know Mayo were fuming over the penalty. They didn't think it was a penalty. But that said, there was a lot of it going on both sides, and Big Aidan O'Shea and Michael Murphy, there was a lot of off the ball stuff as well. Very, very difficult to referee. No more than you know, the Wexford Kilkenny game last weekend. Wexford Kilkenny, wasn't it? Yeah, last weekend. You know, it's hard to talk about 2 referees. It was a tough game to marshal with so much stuff going on.
And obviously, here looking ahead now to the semi-final, do you think they can beat the Dubs? Or it could be Tyrone, but let's say it is Dublin. Do you think they could beat them?
I think they have a chance. Of all teams over the last 4 years, they've been the closest to Dublin. Took them to replays. Was it 2 years ago? They conceded the 2 goals, the 2 own goals. Then you had the Rob Hennelly, different things. Rob Hennelly changing the goalies, etc. I thought Hennelly acquitted himself quite well. I'm sure he'll be in goal next weekend. James Horn isn't going to change that. All you can base stuff on really, Aisling, is form. And Dublin's form over the last 4 years, I think they're 33 championship games without a defeat. Like, that's some stat.
Unreal.
If Mayo played like they did in the first half for the full 70-75 minutes, they'd definitely give themselves a chance. They were ravenous in the breaks. And Jason Doherty, who looks unfortunately like he's got a serious injury, he was fantastic till he went off. Duck and Keegan, they were winning so much breaks. I thought Brendan Harrison had a very fine game in a full back as well. Can they beat Dublin? Based on all form this season, no, they won't. But Mayo supporters don't believe that. The team don't believe that, and that's what is important. It's not Aisling O'Reilly and Ray Silke on off the ball that matter. It's what goes on inside that dressing room. Have they got the psyche? I think they would prefer to meet Dublin in a semi-final than a final, because if Dublin get to play Kerry, it would be then in that situation. Kerry beat Meath there tonight by 8 or 9 points, but Kerry didn't play that very, very well in that game. So, you know, if Dublin get Kerry and they'll get tested a little bit, it'll bring them on. There's the whole Jim and Connolly question as well. You know, a lot of people asking about that. Why is he brought back in? Is it because Jim Gavin doesn't have enough confidence in the bench, or is Conley playing well? He was going to America, so there's loads of questions there, and it makes for a very exciting weekend next weekend. It's a bit unfair on the players, I think, particularly the Mayo players who had to go empty the tank there tonight to be playing 7 days later or 6 days later. They're already playing next Saturday, next Sunday. The advantage lies with Tyrone and Dublin now, because they're able to, Mickey Hart is playing 15 new players, and Dublin have only 5 of the regulars playing. So, you know, the likes of Brian Fenton or Kieran Kilkenny or Conor Callahan, they have this weekend off.
It either will stop momentum or it will give them a good rest, I suppose. You know, you could look at it both ways, and I suppose he is looking at it that he'd like to give them the rest time. But there is that chance that, you know, they'll go in against Mayo, or, you know, and they mightn't be as hard hitting as they normally are, up to scratch as they normally are.
Yeah, would they be a little bit undercooked? We won't know. And, you know, hindsight is 2020. You know, it's a fantastic thing. Like, you know, if we could have got the lotto numbers earlier in the day, we wouldn't have to be worrying about stuff. So we won't know until the day itself. But look, Dublin, I think Dublin just have an array of talent. In Brian Fenton, they have the best midfielder in Ireland. In James McCarthy, super player, he's coming back. Jack McCaffrey, they have such pace. They're in the under-21 final tonight. A lot of those guys have won under-21s. The under-20 final tonight against Cork. I don't know how that has gone at this stage, but there's a lot of stuff coming on. Dublin have a lot of advantages. The neutral game is at home. Guys, if suppose Dublin are playing Mayo next weekend, some of the boys have to go from Crossmalina to get up. So it's easier for a guy to walk down from Clontarf and wander into Croke Park than you have 2.5 hour journey, stay in a hotel, etc. So can Mayo beat Dublin? Anyone can be beaten on any given day. Based on their first half, they're still there, they have an opportunity. I don't know, but I would be very surprised were they to do so.
And also we hear Tom Parsons maybe coming back into the Mayo squad. What do you think of that? Could that be a big build-up for them?
Yeah, but I think it's a bit of a red herring really, in that he hasn't played club football. Matthew Ryan came on there. It's great to see Tom back, and all the best to him, and it's fantastic. But to go into that Croke Park, an All-Ireland semi-final, it's inconceivable that he would come on there and make a difference. You know, I just couldn't see how that would happen. Aidan O'Shea and Seamus from Bravery, they did quite well there tonight, and I think Donegal will be disappointed that they didn't maintain their form. Ryan McHugh will feel he didn't have an impact on the game. Paddy McBurty scored 2 points, but not enough. He kicked a few wides as well. So when the chips were down, Donegal didn't pull the trigger. That said, Mayo had 4 goal opportunities as well. Lee Keegan won't enjoy looking at his opportunity when he was straight through and he blazed it wide. Andy had a goal chance, he did straight at Patton. And in the first half, Darren Cohn had a great opportunity. I think James Horton did well replacing Darren Cohn when he did. Andy Moore made a big difference.
That's it. I think maybe the matchups today were, you know, I think really Mayo got it spot on. They kept, you know, Ryan McHugh and a few really crucial players out of the game. And maybe that's what it was in the end.
Yeah, and the better players, I was talking to Brian McAniff at half time, and we were saying, bar McMinimum on Cone, no other Donegal player was winning his battle. To win a match, Aisling, you need maybe 8 or 9 people winning their battles and a few guys not getting creamed on the other side. Mayo had the ace players today, from Harrison right up to Cillian O'Connor, who was effective on the freeze, and then their impact subs made a difference. Oisín came on for Donegal. He didn't have the impact, he's only 18 years of age, but a big loss I think is Jason Doherty. Talking to local media here today, they think it's quite serious, maybe a cruciate, so would wish him well. It's a terrible way to end your season if it is. Now it could be a bit of a rallying cause for the lads, but I think when you're older and you're 4 young children and work is around the corner, you kind of look at it a little bit differently.
Big time. It's an amateur sport at the end of the day, you know. You look at these lads, they're getting up tomorrow and they're going, or Monday, bank holiday, Tuesday, and they're going to be going to work, and people need to remember that at the end of the day. So we do wish them all the best.
Absolutely. Hopefully Jason can get back for the rest of the season. It's not a long-term injury. You know, like Owen Bond Gallagher, then obviously from Donegal, he broke his ankle early in the season. It's tough going, but you know, fair play to these Mayo guys. They do bounce back. They've been written off so many occasions. We need to just probably stop doing it. But I do think, we'll say Keith Higgins, Colin Boyle, Seamus O'Shea, these guys in their late 30s, or early 30s, apologies, they can't, you know, temper fugit. Time moves on. They got to grab this opportunity now. They're in an All-Ireland semi-final. There's no guarantees for next year, but they don't need Ray Silke to tell them that. They know that they have to try and grasp the opportunity. So next weekend is set up for a very, very exciting Croke Park on Saturday and Sunday, and you know, I'm looking forward to it. It should be very, very exciting. Regardless, you've got Kerry, Mayo, and then Dublin, Tyrone, probably the 4 best teams in the country. in there, and I suppose that's what the Super 8s does do. But the difficulty, I suppose, and the critics of the Super 8s will say, it reinforces the strong. It gives the strong a second chance.
This is it.
Kerry have beaten Mayo, but Mayo in an All-Ireland semi-final. Roscommon beat Mayo, but Mayo in an All-Ireland semi-final. So the Super 8s strength, they give the strong teams a second opportunity. Is that what we want? Do we want knockout football? And there's the whole thing of provincial grounds versus neutral grounds. But tonight was a rip-roaring game.
Oh, the atmosphere.
Yeah,
was electric.
And you got badly caught in traffic yourself. Like people, for the listeners, an hour and a half before the game, there was a 3-mile tailback.
Well, this is the Mayo supporters. They're something else. They really are. You have to say, I don't know if I've seen any supporters that travel so well. They're here with the posters, the flags. It's brilliant to see, and you can see the lads. They really feel it on the pitch as well.
Yeah, there was we're a bit late now because we got caught up doing other things, but like that, the pitch was crowded with supporters after the game, and they will be travelling to Dublin with belief. The dream lives on. 1951 is an unbelievable. Yeah, there's still hope, and best of luck to them. No one could begrudge this bunch of players' success. Absolutely not. So we wish them all the best, and I suppose from a dark and dreary McHale Park, it's time to wrap up here and get ready for next weekend.
It is. Thank you so much, Ray Silke.
A pleasure.
Thank you.